So we're going to get into simplifying algebraic expressions, and so one of the first things we like to do is collect like terms. So a couple of things to define here, and maybe I'll do the bottom half first before we get to the top, because we're looking at this idea of like terms. Just a note on what terms are. Terms are just groups of coefficients, that means the numbers, and variables that are multiplied together. So 3x squared plus y, that is a term. There's numbers and letters multiplied together. 5a is a term, a number and letter multiplied together. Negative 7bcd squared, that is a term. In this case here, we have 4x squared divided by y plus 7y squared. That is one term, that's another term, and that's another term. These are being multiplied, these are divided, so they're not the same term, so we separate them as separate. Notice you can just have one letter as a term, or you could just have a single number as a term as well. You could just have the number 1 as a term, and 7x squared would be another term. So terms are just those numbers and letters multiplied together. When we're in the case of looking at like terms, those are terms whose variables and exponents are the same. So in our example here, we have 3x and negative 2x. Those have the same variable and exponent. They both have just an x or an x to the power of 1. In the next one here, we have 9b squared and 2b squared. The variable portion, the b squared and the b squared is the same variable, same exponent. So those are all good. And the last one, negative 6w cubed and negative 4w squared, cubed. Since they're both w cubed, that means those are like terms. Now, in this next set here, 4x squared and 4x are not like terms. X squared is not the same as x. X squared, like we mentioned earlier in exponents section, is that x squared you should think of as square. X would just be a line. So x squared would be a square itself, so those are not the same. In the case of 7y and negative 5y cubed, again, the exponents are different. So these are not the same. 7y, the y would just be considered a straight line, where y cubed would actually be a cube. So they're different things, they're not the same. If you have a visualization, they look different. And then the last one here, we have 2x and 2y and 3y. Those variables are different, so these are not the same. X and y are not the same thing. So make sure you are always looking for the same variable and same exponent in each term when we go to collect them. And now we'll look at some examples of actually collecting like terms. So for some of our examples here with collecting like terms, we're going to be using basically two steps. We're going to group anything that is a like term together, not forgetting the plus or minus sign, and then we're just going to add the coefficients, just the numbers in front, not the exponents, just the numbers in front. So if we look at our first one, it's actually nice and easy. We have 4x plus 3x, and that equals 7x. So there's a total of 7 x's there. We're just adding those coefficients in this case because there's nothing to group. Now in the case of b, now we have a couple of different terms. We have these terms with x squared. Remember that negative sign is part of that term. And then we have a couple terms, and I'll get a different color here. We got a couple terms right here, plus 2 and plus 3. So if we group those terms together, then what we do is write 2x squared minus 4x squared plus 2 plus 3. So we've grouped each of those pairs together, and now we can add or subtract as needed. So in the case of 2 minus 4, it's 2 degrees out, it gets 4 degrees colder, it's going to be minus 2. Minus 2 x squared, and then we have 2 plus 3, which is 5. Now in the next one here, we have 5y squared plus 6x minus 4y squared plus 2x. So our like terms are remembering the actual negative and positive signs with those. So the negative 4y squared and the 5y squared, and then the plus 6x and the plus 2x. So we just combine those together in a single group. 5y squared minus 4y squared plus 6x plus 2x. And 5 minus 4, just subtracting the coefficients themselves, we end up with y squared, and 6x plus 2x is going to give us 8x. Do note, we're not adding and subtracting the exponents. The only time we add exponents or subtract exponents is when we're multiplying or dividing them. This is not a multiplication sign or a division sign, so we do not add the exponents, we just add the numbers, the coefficients in front. Oh, I copied that twice. Alright, so now D, we have a few terms in here. We have a 7, that would be considered a positive 7. We have a positive 4. We have a plus 4x cubed, and then we have a plus 2x squared and a minus 2x squared. So we're going to collect our like terms, and while the order doesn't matter, in general we write the letters first and then the terms with letters first and then the numbers, generally in descending order. But it doesn't matter what the order is, so I'll show you a couple here ways you might write this. You might write this just 7 plus 4, then plus 4x cubed, then plus 2x squared minus 2x squared. You could write it like that, or you could write it like this: 4x cubed plus 2x squared minus 2x squared plus 7 plus 4. And the reason why I write it like this is later on when we're working with some of the things later in our course and in grade 10, this will just be more efficient for us to write it like that. In either case, you're going to get the same numbers in the result. Here we'd have only one 4x cubed, and then plus 2x squared minus 2x squared. Well, 2 minus 2 is 0, so there's no x squareds left. We don't have to write it down. And then 7 plus 4 is 11. 11. Now, if we did it from this line, you might get 7 and plus 4, and then which is the 11, and then have the 11 first. So, or you could write 11 plus 4x cubed. Both of those are correct answers. Your choice. This is the way you'll probably see me write it, just because this is the way that will be more effective in the future. So our last one here, collecting like terms, we have these b squareds, we have these b's, and then we have this just solitary coefficient. So 4b squared plus 8b squared, that would be like a plus b or a plus 1b, that's 1b there, plus 2b. So if you see a letter without a number, that is a single 1. And then our minus 3. So 8 plus 4 in this case here is going to give us 12b squared. 1 plus 2 is going to give us 3b, and then a minus 3. And there we have some examples with simplifying or by collecting like terms.